All right, sound check 1, 2. You guys hear me okay? Check 1, 2. All right, you guys ready to get started this morning? Got an update to cover real quick. All right, let's go ahead and cover the update real fast. All right, right now on my screen, on my indicator, I'm on platinum. I have I've got two things turned on. I've got the high, the low of the day, okay, and then I have the Pathfinder add-on turned on. Okay, now I don't have the shapes on currently. I have those turned off, and I also don't have the trend cloud on, so you don't see that. You don't see the trend ribbon. That's normally on there. Okay. Why? Why don't I have that stuff on? Obviously, it works. I mean, you can see here the trend ribbon. You can see it works fantastic. What I find is that, especially when I'm doing analysis, but even during the day, that the more things that I have to process, the more decisions I have to make, and the more complicated things get, and the more I take trades that I shouldn't trade, or I just get I don't know. It gets I get overstimulated with information. I guess that's a way to put it. So I have things very simple right now, but there's a major change that I made to this, and that is regardless of what time frame you're on. So like all the way down to the 1 minute on this. It'll load. If you guys notice, the candles are only blue. Why would that be? So why would I only have blue candles? I only have blue candles because why? The market is bullish. What it is every time frame below the daily, so 8 hours all the way down to 1 minute, all of these time frames are all going to be blue. Oh, hold on. You're right. I'm not screen sharing. 1 second. Thank you. I don't see if you guys posted on school. I don't see it. So thank you for sending me that signal message. Okay. So check this out. On all time frames below the daily, okay, every time frame below the daily, it is going to show you the candle color of the daily. So we zoom out, we go to the daily. Okay. You can see here, what is the candle color on the daily? Blue, right? So what is my candle color going to be on platinum? It's going to be blue, right? So literally since back here, all the way since back in May, you have an entire year of blue candles, right? And when the candles go a different color, like for example here, they've almost got that slight purple where it's going into the indecision. You can see if you drop down to the you drop down in time frame, you're going to see that the candles are a little bit more pale. All right. Now, when you go to where the candles are red, okay, and this is not even bright red, but this is more red. If you drop down to the lower time frame there, guess what? Your candles are going to be lighter red. Okay, so what does this do for us? Well, when we show up to the market, we no longer have to even look at what the daily is. Why? Because we can see where the high was, we can see where the low was with the high and the low of the day indicator, okay, that I built. So you can see that information, and you can see the candle color of what direction should you be looking for. Okay. So this comes into play. You don't have to go back and look at things. You can just show up every day, and I'm in a bullish market. I should be looking for buys. Period. Okay. Then it just comes down to where are you getting in for the day? Okay, where are you looking to get in the market? You know the overall direction. We want to avoid all the chop and all the sideways stuff and all that. So we're just looking to get good positions on the day. And so where that's going to be is you obviously want to get in if it's a bullish market on the daily. Okay, and you have all these bull candles here. What you want to do is you want to be trying to get in at the low of the day and taking this thing up if you're in a bullish market, right? So what that means is finding support. Sometimes that support is not near the low, but at some point you're going to make a low in the day. That's these white lines here. It shows you every single day the segment. You obviously want to get in on what? You want to buy low and you want to take it up. Okay? So your goal is to find these bottoms on the market, get in there, and then that way throughout the day you are what? Increasing your equity and making money. Now you guys are already really good at this. You're good at finding entries. It's just a lot of times you guys are taking entries up in this stuff, and up in this stuff, the market has already moved, it's already ran, and you're getting in these in-between moves, which is why I don't have that trend driven on right now, because I want to avoid these in-between moves, and I want to focus on trying to get in on the lows of the day, right? I want to see the areas where I've had a significant pullback in a bullish market. Why? Because that leads for more profitability. That's why. Okay. So an easy way to do that, for example, yesterday on platinum, the market pushed all the way down here. So we're down pushing the low. The price came down to 2512.4. And if you look here, what do we have at the bottoms of the market? We have white candles, right? So when this market came down yesterday and we have a double bottom here, that market then what? Turned around and ran all the way until this morning, where it kind of teetered out right here, okay, at these tops on the 15-minute time frame. But on the daily, you can see that double bottom here on the low is what made the move to the upside. So sometimes you guys are getting in trades and you're like, how do I differentiate between trades that are moving a little bit and you might see some profitability and then you get knocked out of it, versus trades that you get in and you're like, this thing just ran forever? Well, what's the difference? The difference is when you catch the lows of the day in the bullish market, that is what's going to create the catalyst for the market to run. Anything that you get before that might give some bounces, okay? You might see some profitability, but it's the low of the day in the bullish market and the high of the day in the bearish market. That is what makes all the difference. So patiently waiting and looking for those opportunities, and just at the very least knowing your direction for the day and not going with any other direction other than that direction, is going to increase your level of success tremendously. Okay, it's going to increase the outcome, and it takes patience. Yesterday, the market dropped down for the first however many hours of the day, and then halfway through on the 5-minute here, it double bottomed, and then what did it do? It popped up. So that was on the 5-minute. You get those candles here on the 15-minute. Look at what it gave you. If you were to hit this inside candle, guys, on the 15-minute, okay, which is, remember, this is a signal that we teach, is that inside candle, okay? If you were to take that and your stop loss is down below that, and you rode this thing up to the end of the day, it was a 1 to 15 risk to reward ratio. 1 to 15, which means if you risked $100, you made $1,500. Okay. So you want to look for those opportunities at the bottoms of markets. Look for the wicks. Look for the inside candles. If you have, if you turn on your candles, the plot shapes, okay, you shouldn't even have red candles on this, because why? We're looking for tops and bottoms. You'll notice the reason that I'm not using these pivot levels right now is because they tend to work where? In between. They're going to work in those in between spaces. Right now I have them turned off for the lows, and I need to actually recalibrate it so that way it's turning on for those lows and showing you, because I have it filtered out so that way it will show you the reds down there. Why? Because it's been pushing down enough that it's technically bearish, but it's not showing the blues at the bottom there. So I have to fix that and then get that reversed, and I'll get it tidied up so it makes it cleaner today. So don't worry about that. But that's why I have it turned off. Okay. Does that make sense? Put some 7s in the chat if you guys are tracking with me. You know your overall direction for the day. You guys don't even have to show up to the call and ask me or wait for me to tell you. You just literally look at the candle color. All right, now there's three candle colors that you need to pay attention to, and I don't know if we can see all of them here, but we'll try. Okay, so this is on the 15-minute time frame. Go ahead and type it with me in chat while we do this. Platinum is what, guys? It's bullish, right? Bright blue candles. We're looking for buys. This is great today. You want to be targeting these lows in here. In fact, this one already gave a low off the low of the day. Okay, already gave a white inside candle. This is the price in the zone, and in fact, the indicator tells you the price. Okay, as long as everybody has this. Does everybody have the high and the low of the day? What I'm going to end up doing is building that in the Pathfinder add-on today, so I'll get it updated. But you want to be looking for entries towards the low of the day. If you do that and you take it to the high of the day, that is a lot of money. If you were to catch that on platinum, okay, if you took this on platinum and you took one contract on platinum, which may be too big, okay, and you take that to the high of the day, that's $4,000. Okay, it's $4,000 if the day finishes what? Bullish. If you finish with a bull candle on the daily, if this finishes bullish, you're going to do well. Okay, that's how that works. So that's an example. If you do not have space in your account to risk, I don't know, what would the risk have been on this? If you took it at the inside candle at the low here on platinum, not everybody has the ability to risk $1,000 per trade, right? That's a lot of risk. So then you stick to trading on maybe gold, okay? And on gold, you can see I marked up a couple entries here yesterday. You can see here near the lows of the day, you have a double bottom right here. Okay, you can see right here you have wicks on this one. You can see right here again you have a double bottom right there, as well as on the 5-minute. The reason that I have these marked up is because there was order blocks there. They weren't just random. FYI, I'll zoom in here so you guys can see. All right, see what I mean? You have an order block here. In fact, this right here looks like what we're dealing with today. This looks exactly like what we're dealing with today. The market from the open rises, we hit resistance, it comes back to where the market previously had support and resistance, finds support, double bottom, and then what does it do? Takes off. This was yesterday. In hindsight, it's such an easy, simple move. You can see we broke the high right here at the end of the day and just ran. The day before that on gold, right here, what do we have? The market drops down. We have inside candles and a double bottom. Do we have an order block as well? Or is it just inside candles and a double bottom? Oh, look at that. We have an order block and we have an inside candle and a wick right there. Guys, this is such an obvious entry. All day, every day, right there. Take that market and take it higher. Okay, that's on gold. There you go. Okay. Same thing over here. Same thing happened. Double bottom, inside candles. It's showing you where the support is. And what does it do? It runs for the remainder of the day. Okay, just to show you guys again what the risk would be on something like this. If you were to, let's say you took this initial entry, which is a little bit more risky. If you took that initial entry and you got in on, this is on minis, so that'll be way too big. $2,000. So 1/10 of that would be $200 on micros. So if you were to take that on the micros, I don't know if it'll give me the same candle here. On a micro contract, taking that would be $200. That would be appropriate. You take that to the high of the day, that's 493. Okay, so it's a 1 to 2.5 just from there. If you were to take it on that one. Okay. If you waited for the double bottom and you hit it down in here, you would have an even better position. You'd be able to have more risk, and of course the reward would be much more. So it just all depends on what your risk is for your account. All right. Cool. Yes, I'll be giving you guys that update. As soon as we hop off the call, I will be finishing. I'm going to be adding in the high and the low onto the add-on. And then again, I need to also fix the pivot levels because right now I have them filtered out. So you don't see any of those pivots at the bottom. I'm going to make it so that way the pivots show up back at the bottom. Okay, because I know most people don't have the high and the low of the day, which is this personally, that high and the low of the day is really, really awesome because it just shows you the overall market structure. You know, you can see where the market opened, you can see where it went to, you can see where it closed at, you can see everything without having to go to the daily time frame. So it's like seeing two time frames on the same chart, right? You see both of them without having to switch charts. Okay. All right. So I'll get that stuff updated. Yeah, you always mark it, Lisa. Now you don't have to mark it. So congratulations. And congratulations on your success as well. I'm really excited for you. All right, guys. Have an amazing day today. Do you guys have any questions on this? It's exciting, right? You guys have no idea how much prayer and effort and work I have been putting into this. Maybe someday I'll write a book on it because my goodness, the amount of effort that's gone into this. So, you guys have any questions? You guys know where your entries are? The entries have not changed, by the way. The strategy has not changed. There's nothing that's changed about this. All this is doing is providing more perspective for you guys of where you should be focusing when getting in. The market's bullish, focus on getting in on the lows of the day. They could happen at any time. They could happen at 6 p.m. at night. In fact, one of the things I noticed immediately when I did this was when the market opened up at 6 p.m. and it opened way up, that thing tend to run for a while. That would be improper English. Okay. When it opened bullish, it tend to run for a while. Look at this. It opened bullish, and what did it do? It ran all day. Okay. Opened bullish, this thing ran for a while. This one opened bullish, went sideways, eventually finished higher. But I noticed a lot of times these when they open bullish, they just start running. And why? Because that's the nature of candles. Look at this one. Opens bullish, runs all day. Just little observations things that I had already been noticing on this. Yes. Well, let me ask you, Roy, where do you think the most effective alerts would be on this? And by the way, I think that sitting on the sidelines and watching always or not watching is the best thing you can do. I have alerts set on the inside candles, so I want to know when an inside candle forms. What I don't have right now is I don't have a good indicator for double bottoms and double tops. That's the next thing that I'm building is I want to know when a double bottom or a double top happens. I want a reliable indicator that tells me, okay, when that's going on. Okay. I want to know when that's happening. Other than that, you guys already know. So large wicks, yeah, when that's happening, when the market enters order blocks. So if you guys see order blocks near the low of the day, you should probably set an alert on it, right? Like right here on micro gold, especially 15-minute order blocks, but 5-minute order blocks are valid as well because the market will move from those. If the market broke these lows, I would anticipate a pullback to where? The order block down here near the low. And then what would we look for? We'd look for a bounce from the order block, right? If you time the bottom and you catch the bottom of the market and all it does is that candle, let's say that this daily candle right here ends up, let's see, here was the market open right there, okay? So let's say that the market rose all the way up here and let's say it wicks all the way down and it ends up being the low here, okay? And you get in at the low of the day in the bullish market, but then the candle from where it opens, maybe this market comes down and touches in here, you get in at the low, and maybe it doesn't go higher, maybe it just finishes out in here sideways. Well, guess what? Because you got in here, you're still finishing the day in profit. Versus catching all this stuff, unless it's from an order block, because again, these order blocks, the market can move from the order blocks, but you should not be entering unless you have a 5-minute or 15-minute order block. You shouldn't be getting in anyways. But if you catch the low on a bullish day or the high on a bearish day, and the market just goes back and stays in the range, you're still going to finish in profit. Okay? So just be mindful of that. Do your best not to chase, right? And you guys are going to have some tremendous success with this. This is going to help give you some really good perspective, okay? How do you know which order block to get into that scenario because they're both blue? So great question, Claudette. What you look for is you look for the order block that gives you a signal to get in. Like, don't just enter because it's an order block. Wait for the market to give you a double bottom in the order block on the 5-minute, or to give you inside candles or wicks. Like, look for evidence that the buyers are there. Make sense? Don't just enter. Look for evidence. Like, find something that backs your position and supports what you're seeing on the charts. And if you see that from, like, if we see that from this right here, we would get in, right? If that happened here, we would look to get in. Now, personally, my personal opinion on gold is that I think gold is now going to pull back deeper. I think we have a failure to make a higher high. I think we likely break this, and I think we come deeper for the day. And then it starts to find support and then come up, and maybe tomorrow. I think what ends up happening is I think this block turns red, okay? So it pops below, turns red, and then we start looking at support, break, test, go again. That's what I think happens personally. Markets don't just go straight up forever. They need to have a breather and a reset. And this one has been running since last night. We had this huge move, okay? Now we see change of character happen on right here. Change of character occurs. We fail to make a higher high on the on here. You can see this is lower, so we have a divergence as well. So I think personally today on gold, I think we have a deeper pullback. I think we chill, we let it pull back, then we look for structural support either on the 5-minute or the 15-minute. 15-minute doesn't have anything since back here. Maybe it would come into this order block right here in that zone where the previous high was, okay? So maybe we come back and test that on gold and then potentially continue. Okay? But wait for evidence in the order blocks to do that, because at the very least, if you have a double bottom and you get in after the double bottoms occurred, it's already tested it twice. And if you get a push away from there, you can go risk free. If you get in when it's just come down and you take the first inside candle, you might get a retest. You might get a second test of that level. And so it's riskier. And if you go risk free, it's a lot easier to get stopped out versus the double bottom. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but this is recorded and you can go back and watch it. But I'm throwing some golden nuggets at you guys here. All right. Okay, guys. So let's just do analysis for the day, what we're looking at. Okay, so we just talked about gold. Gold is bullish. We're looking at opportunities to get in. The first thing I'm interested in, of course, predominantly is 15-minute order blocks. Let's make sure there's another. Yeah, I want to make sure everything's turned on here. Okay, we're good. It's all turned on. Everything's on level 1. Cool. So on platinum, starting there. Okay. Overall bullish. Look what we have here. We have a 15-minute order block. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to mark that up. If we break that order block, guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be making higher highs today. And where would the target be? Likely right here. Okay. This would be the target. All right. Maybe wait for a double bottom here. We do have an inside candle at the low. Maybe it doesn't retest that, but right now you're in between zone. This is where people give their money to the market. You're in between. We don't know yet if we have momentum to push, and we don't know if we're going to get a retest, which means you just wait. Okay, just wait. But that would be what I would be looking for, and I do have an alert set here. All right, copper. Let's take a look. Good. Copper did push yesterday from where I said right here. It broke, retested, pushed. Beautiful. Let's see. We are, okay, so here's a great example. We're at the low of the day right now. Okay, so we're at the low of the day. And what are we getting? Potentially an inside candle. Okay, so you watch for evidence here of the market wanting to find support and drive back up to the order block up here. Drive up in that direction, okay? So bullish on copper. Why? Because the candles are blue. S&P, we are bullish overall. Order block and the low is down here, okay? What I would watch here in the middle is there any 5-minute order blocks? No, there's nothing. It's down here lower. So let the market come to us on these. Okay. Gold, we already established is bullish, and we already established we're likely coming back deeper, maybe back down to this level down in here. Okay, where those levels are. 5 minutes, potentially it could move from here. So gold might find support here, and maybe you double bottom right in here in this zone, and maybe it bounces from there. If not, find this lower zone and look from there. So we'll just put these arrows on here for that's where I'm looking for. This is what I think is happening. It could go from either of these. Silver on the 15-minute, we're obviously bullish. Okay, easy to spot. We're only looking for buys. On the 15-minute, we came back down. We found an inside candle. This is a perfect example near the low of the day. If you had taken this inside candle from inside the order block near the low of the day, you already would have been in so much profit, you'd be squealing like a stuck pig, okay? Guys, this is just those little moves are, all right, I want to exit out of the replay. I don't want to do that. There we go. Just these moves right here is a lot of money. Even on micro silver, it's a lot of money. Oh, perfect. Okay. Thank you. So maybe from this order block today, if you start pushing up and you push this high up here, which we're going to set an alert on, this thing is going to go higher, and you're gonna see higher highs on silver. Okay, so be watching for opportunities there on silver. Personally, I like silver the best so far, best looking, and I think platinum's got a lot of potential. Okay, Nasdaq also bullish. Loads. Let's see if Nasdaq will load for us. There we go. What do we have on the Nasdaq? We have, you can see we have orders in here and an order block. So that's a potential location that the market might move from. It did double top on the 15-minute. So we would automatically anticipate today to be more of a pullback day. Automatically. It's when we look at that, it's just automatic. I see the double top immediately, and I think to myself, it's a pullback day on the Nasdaq. Okay, so I'm just going to put caution in there on the Nasdaq. I think it's a pullback day. All right, what do we have on oil? Oil, you can see here, is already running today. And where was it? Guys, if you want to know what the secret is, it's right here. Blue order block. If I had to take a freaking, you guys want to take a picture of something, of how we trade this and what you're looking for, take a snapshot of this right here. Blue order block. We have a blue order block. Let me delete this. A blue order block. We have the low of the day right here. And then what do we have? Inside candles. Market pushes down. The candles start closing inside on the 15-minute. And what does that show us? Shows us the support is there. What does the market do? Pushes up, takes out the high. You got higher highs coming in for the day. This market is rising on oil. Okay? This is picture perfect right here. Picture perfect. And look, you even get a brand new blue order block. Why? because all the buyers came in right here. Do you guys want to know what this would equate to? Let's go with the first order block, right? Or the first inside candle. Okay. One crude oil contract, which is not very much. One. This is what this would have equated to. Stop loss below, maybe $100, $140, $120. The prize money, 830 before, that was just when it broke the top there and went for a higher high. 830 with one contract on oil. Set it, forget it. Let it run. Picture perfect right there. Oil is bullish. Literally, you guys should take a snapshot of this. Literally screenshot it, because add this to the collection for which I'll be doing today. Actually, I'm going to be working on. It is the thing I'm going to be working on. The other thing that you will be noticing in here is the pivots. So as I put the pivots back in here, I have my pivot indicator. Does this have them all in, or does it filter them? Let me see. Right here. You have a pivot right here. This is what I'm talking about, getting these so that they're back in, and then the red ones would be filtered out so they don't show. It'll just be the blue ones. And so when you get those blue pivots from the blue order blocks, that's what you want. But right now I have some of them filtered out that shouldn't be. In fact, the best ones are filtered out, and that has to shift. So right there, you have a blue pivot at the bottom, inside candle. The signal's all there to do everything you need to do in this market. Beautiful. Okay, so take a screenshot on that. Go back through and look at that crude oil trade today, okay? Let me turn Pathfinder pivots off. Okay, so we are overall bullish on the Dow as well. You guys can see here, it's breaking this. So what is it doing? We're bullish overall, but so far this morning, this market is going to drop first. So you let it drop, find where the low is, and then you could decide to get in, okay? And on those days, when you get big drops, you're probably not looking to just home run it. You're just looking to get the bounce, right? Why? You're overall bullish. You don't want to be going against the overall market, but you can see this is having some sideways ranging motion here. It's not just running, but you're looking for those days where, like right here, this is a perfect example, kind of similar to where we're at. The market opened, went sideways for a bit, started to drop, and then look what happens after it did that, and it found support probably from right here. This would be the target zone right here. If it drops down into here, you're going to do what? You're going to set an alert. You're going to look for entries on the Dow from in here. It's very similar to this structure right here, where it pops up, comes down, finds support, and takes off. In fact, you can even do the ghost candle if you guys like bar patterns. So watch this. Ready? I'm going to start here with the bar pattern. Comes down. I'm going to come up here, and then it gives you ghost candles, and you can say, oh, yep, I could see it doing something just like that today. Okay? Just like that. That's a possibility for us today on the Dow. So if you get in down here and then it comes back up and breaks the red, what would you do? You would look to add to your position, right? That's like popping the top. That's exactly what that is. So set an alert here for 48,953 and pay attention to that level. All right, the Russell. Let's see what we got. The Russell, kind of similar. It looks like it's been rising. We do have 15-minute order blocks. So look for entries from these order blocks. We do have a failure to make high right here. Comes back in. So I would watch these order blocks in here. Watch for entries in this zone. Okay. All right. That's what you guys want to be watching for today in the market. Did you guys enjoy this analysis a little bit more in depth? Well, so hold on, Brad. So we don't know We don't know that that's going to be the low on the day. Like, what was it on, silver, or was it, which pair was it on? There was one where it had already dropped and gave a white candle. Like I was saying, you don't know if you don't know that this is actually going to be the low, or if it's going to come back down and test it, which is why when you're in no man's land here, you're in between the blocks, you do not trade in here. Don't touch it here, because there's a chance it's going to come back down and test one more time. If it comes back down and then you get a double bottom where you get a second inside candle or a second pivot here at the bottom, then you strike. If you missed the first one in the block, okay? So there's no rush and no pressure to get in. We do not chase ever. Do not chase. You wait for it to come to you. And it may not be tomorrow, okay? It could be later in the day. You just sit and you wait. You can set an alert, let it so it alerts you if it comes back inside the order block. But whatever you guys do, do not chase when price is in no man's land. You wait for it to come into either the low of the day or the order blocks at the low of the day. You look for, if there's no order block, look for a double bottom at the low of the day in a bullish market. Or if you're in a bearish market, you double top, right? Looking for the double top. If there's no order block, okay? That's only if there's no order block. You can use that as your signal because it could then launch from there. Otherwise, you trade from the order blocks only. You do not chase price in the in-between zone. That's how you give money back to the market. All right, I have full confidence in you guys today. If you need to go back through this recording, this was a massive recording today that I just did for you guys. There's the golden nuggets that are in what I just shared with you will carry you guys through this entire year, literally. Okay, it's just going to be a matter of perfecting what I just showed you. That is what 2026 is. Okay. All right, guys, go get them. I will get the indicators updated. Love y'all. Have an amazing day today. Be patient, be disciplined, and the gains will come. Love you guys. Have a good one. I'm out.